There is a Portuguese phrase that the English language has never quite found an adequate translation for. Not because the concept is culturally inaccessible, but because the English version, self-love, arrives already worn smooth from overuse, already carrying the ambient residue of 1,000 wellness brands that deployed it until the meaning had been extracted entirely from the interior of the thing. Amor próprio is different. Older, it carries the specific gravity of a language that developed inside a culture with its own distinct relationship between the body and its right to occupy beautiful things. Amor próprio is love that is proper to the self. Not performed for an audience. Not productized for a campaign. The quiet, permanent orientation of someone who decided, at a moment that required no declaration, that her own existence was worth adorning. Joici Walter built that into a platform. 183,000 people found it. And 3 separate commercial partnerships arrived shortly behind them. Welcome back to CurveWalk's studio, the plus-size model and curvy model wiki biography channel, home of the plus-size curvy women documentary playlist and the Curve Files on Spotify. 2 terms anchor every profile this archive builds. Big Beautiful Woman, BBW, Supersize Big Beautiful Woman, SSBBW. Both describe genuine, irreducible categories inside the full-figured plus-size model world, and Joici Walter inhabits both with the particular, sun-warmed steadiness of a Brazilian woman who arrived in the United States carrying a cultural relationship with the full-figured body that the American plus-size conversation is only now beginning to approximate from the outside. Her IG handle is Joici Walter Plus. 38 years old in 2026, turning 39 on the 17th of December, a Sagittarius by the calendar's accounting. From Brazil. Based in the United States, 1,495 posts. 183,000 followers. 7,482 accounts followed back. A reciprocal generosity of attention so expansive it constitutes its own philosophy of creative engagement. Followed by Sasser_Gages, Lauren Butler, and Nancy Hernandez. That endorsement triptych deserves its own examination. These are not passive algorithmic follows. Lauren Butler, a Modelevi, built for 1,000 posts and 3.5 million followers on the philosophical consistency of love of life as a sustained creative practice. Nancy Hernandez, Real Nancy Hernandez, built 65.2 million views as a Latina travel storyteller whose platform proved that narrative exploration through style generates a different kind of reach than style alone. When these 2 presences appear in the followed by section of a Brazilian plus-size model's profile, they are communicating something specific. They recognize something. Amor próprio, apparently, is legible across cultural and linguistic borders to the people whose platforms are built on the same underlying orientation. What is the SHEIN ambassador relationship and why does holding simultaneous partnerships across SHEIN, Shopee, and TEMU represent a strategically distinct commercial architecture from the single label affiliations this CurveWalk's studio plus-size model archive typically documents? Each platform serves a different consumer moment. SHEIN serves the desire for on-trend fashion at the accessible end of the spectrum. Shopee serves the integrated discovery and purchase environment dominant across Brazilian and Southeast Asian markets simultaneously. TEMU serves the deal discovery impulse rather than the trend discovery one. A full-figured plus-size model holding active partnerships across all 3 is not simply accumulating brand associations. She is serving 3 different audience moments that together approach the entire accessible plus-size fashion market. The Recebidos SHEIN highlight, documenting received and gifted items, functions as both authentic review content and product catalog simultaneously. A hybrid format whose credibility the platform's audience reads correctly because the transparency behind it is structural rather than strategic. Now the arithmetic. 4 documented uploads. 5.3 million views. 3 million. 1 million. 915,000. Combined, 10.2 million views against 183,000 followers. Combined ratio, 55.8:1. Peak ratio, 29:1 from the 5.3 million upload. 29 times a following from one piece of content. And the 55.8 combined figure confirms the breakout was not a singular event but a pattern of consistent above baseline performance building across the archive. The dogs appear across the platform as biographical constant rather than content category. In the full-figured creator world, animals in a public archive function as transparency signals. The audience reads it correctly. This is an actual person with an actual domestic life, not a curated surface whose warmth was manufactured for the feed. The cultural touchstone for what Amor próprio in a full-figured woman looks like inside the English language musical tradition belongs to 1978. Gloria Gaynor, American, released I Will Survive in that year, and it became within months the most internationally recognized anthem of self-determination the disco era produced. Gloria Gaynor is a natural older woman over 60 now whose single declaration of self-affirmation translated across every language barrier the record reached because self-love, in whatever formulation it arrives, carries its own cross-cultural legibility. The natural older women over 50 who danced to that record in their 20s understand immediately the philosophical lineage Joici inhabits. The natural older women over 40 who came after them grew up inside that self-determination as inheritance rather than argument. Amor próprio is the Brazilian literary formulation of the same irreducible conviction. What belonged to a nightclub in New York in 1978 and what belongs to a plus-size model's bio in 2026 are, structurally, the same orientation wearing different clothes. Where does the Joici audience live? Brazil anchors the primary community, the Portuguese language plus-size model audience for whom this platform carries precise cultural specificity rather than broadly translated aspiration. The United States follows. Driven by diaspora connection and the English language plus-size model biography audience, this CurveWalk's Studio plus-size curvy women archive consistently surfaces through curvy model wiki and full-figured lifestyle search pathways. Germany and Canada complete a picture that mirrors the geographic pattern across Brazilian plus-size model profiles throughout this archive. A question for the community. Joici built 55.8 times her following from a platform anchored by Amor próprio as a lived orientation, 3-platform brand architecture, and the precise credibility of being followed by Lauren Butler and Nancy Hernandez simultaneously. Brisna Reyes, 26, the 29-year-old Salvadoran plus-size model in this archive whose December upload reached 78 million views, built from inherited cultural devotion expressed through a grandmother's kitchen. 2 Latin heritage full-figured plus-size curvy women. Entirely different creative vehicles for the same underlying self-possession. Watch the Brisna Reyes biography in the CurveWalk's Studio plus-size curvy women documentary playlist and decide which vehicle travels further across a decade. 38 years old. Turning 39 in December. Brazilian in the United States. Amor próprio. The dogs. The 3-platform architecture. And a full-figured BBW and SSBBW plus-size model platform followed by 2 of the most philosophically deliberate presences this archive has ever documented. Subscribe to CurveWalk's Studio. The Curve Files is on Spotify. Tell us who is next.